I was told to check out this Cuban restaurant called the Hard Grove Cafe. Apparently they serve, you know, classic Cuban cuisine. And so I'm always looking forward to that. So let's check it out.
Have you eaten Cuban food before?
I have.
Okay, so you're familiar.
Yeah, I'm familiar, but if you want to suggest some things, that'd be great.
The ropa vieja?
Ropa vieja?
Ropa vieja is the shredded beef.
The shredded beef. What about pork?
Pork, the lechon asado, the roast pork.
Yeah, that's what I want, because that's what I'm going to do anyway. I'm going to cook the pork in the cajachinas.
Okay.
Yeah. Cuban food is a lot of things that are roasted, cooked for a long time. Lots of pork, lots of chicken and beef, and obviously rice and beans, some tropical fruits, oranges, mangoes, things like that flavor it. It's not a very spicy cuisine. It's not like a Mexican cuisine or even a Spanish cuisine. It's more like it's about the garlic, it's about the fresh herbs. For the most part, it's a very simply prepared cuisine.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Okay, so here's the asado pork, roasted pork, incredibly tender, garlicky, herbaceous, really moist and tender. And these are the moros y cristianos, black rice and beans. We got the sweet plantains. Look at that. Nice and soft and very sweet.
How is it?
Delicious.
Good. Enjoy.
Really good. Let's go check out the pork. All right, that's what you want to see. Nice crispy skin, see that? Nice and juicy on the inside. This is going to be delicious. Now, if you don't have a cajachina, you can start on the grill on high, kind of sear the outside of it, and then turn it all the way down, and then cover it, and then create an oven outside as well. So it's really up to you. But if you can get the cajachina, get it. They're not even that expensive. They're really cool. Look at the skin. That's the key. Hey, let me show you this. You hear that crunch? Look at that. Delicious. Crackling. We want to let this rest for a while. If I start taking it apart now, all the juice is going to run away. We want them to cool off so that they stay intact, and so it stays nice and moist. Okay, let's make our sour orange dipping sauce. Orange and lime juice. Reduce down. I'm going to put this in a blender. And then we're going to add some ingredients like some red onion. Not a lot, just a little bit. Make it nice and savory. A couple of cloves of garlic. And you don't have to chop these too fine because we're going to blend it all together. And then habanero pepper, the king of the chili peppers. I'm going to use about half of one. And if we want to make it hotter, we can do that later. A little rice wine vinegar. And some honey. Okay? Orange, lime, honey, red onion, garlic, rice wine vinegar in the blender. Give it a whirl. And now to balance it all out, we're going to add a little bit of olive oil and some fresh mint. Got it. Sour orange dipping sauce. We have the pork resting, we have the sour orange dipping sauce. We want them to get nice and close. Want them to get to know each other very well, okay? Partners in crime. And now we're gonna make some rice and beans. Come on in. First things first, I'm gonna cook some rice. You're gonna saute a little onion, of course. The best sound, isn't it? The sizzle. Okay, we're gonna sweat them, meaning we're gonna saute without color. We don't want them to get brown. We just want all the natural oils and juices to come out of the onions, kind of take the rawness out of them a little bit, and then we're gonna add the rice, and we're gonna make sure that every kernel of the rice it's nice and wet and covered by the oil of the onions. And that will help achieve a nice even cook on the rice. Now, I have my black beans here that I cooked, and I actually saved the liquid for the black beans. And I'm gonna use this liquid to cook the rice, and we're actually gonna get like a nice black rice to go with it. It's gonna be awesome. So we're gonna pour the black bean liquid over, just to cover the rice and a little more. Okay. I'm gonna bring this to a boil, and then we're gonna cover it, let it cook for about, I'd say about 12 to 14 minutes. Rice and beans. We got some rice, we got some beans. Now we're gonna make some pesto to flavor it. And I'm gonna use, I mean, traditionally you would use a basil pesto, but in fact, I'm gonna make a cilantro pesto. Obviously, the first ingredient you wanna start with is lots of cilantro. Try to get as many stems out of there as possible. So we're gonna have some cilantro, some pine nuts, some fresh garlic, and a little bit of cotija cheese. And cotija is kind of like a Parmesan cheese, but Mexican style, kind of dry, good grating cheese, a little salty. And if you couldn't find the cotija, I mean, you could easily use the Parmesan cheese. We're just trying to stay within the theme here. And this is really gonna help give the pesto some body. Okay, so we have the cilantro, we have the pine nuts, garlic, the cotija cheese, the grated cheese, and we're gonna start the food processor up here. Chop it up nice and finely, shut it off for a minute, and now I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper. Let's start to add the olive oil. I'm gonna add it slowly so it stays nice and emulsified. I'm actually gonna make this pesto a little wetter than I would usually because the rice and the beans are really gonna absorb it. Okay. That's what it's gonna look like. So, take some of the black beans. And then a little bit of the black rice, about half and half. Season it up with our two favorite condiments, salt and pepper. And we can pour some pesto right on top. A little bit of extra olive oil. Give it some flavor. A little more pesto. I mean, usually you wouldn't see somebody do this classically, but this is something I like to do just to kind of give it a little extra flair, a little extra flavor. Okay. Now to dress this up a little bit, we can take a little more of the cotija cheese. Just shower the cotija cheese over the beans. It's pretty, like snow almost. A little more of the pesto, right in the middle. And then a little cilantro leaves. Okay, rice and beans. Okay, now we're gonna grill some plantains. We'll talk about the plantains in a second, but one of the things we're gonna make is a rum and brown sugar butter sauce for a glaze for the grilled plantains. So we're gonna start with some brown sugar, a whole bunch of brown sugar, and some dark rum. We're gonna let that reduce. We're gonna let it sort of dissolve, let the brown sugar dissolve into the rum. Then we'll finish it off with a little butter. And after the grilled plantains come off the grill, then we can just kind of brush it on top. It makes it really delicious. So when you're talking about plantains, we want a plantain that is ripe and sweet and is a little soft, but at the same time will still hold its shape so we can slice it and then put it on the grill. So let me show you what I'm looking for. This is exactly the texture I'm looking for here. It's soft. You can see how soft and pliable it is, but it's still holding its shape. So when we put it on the grill, it's not gonna break apart. A little canola oil. A little salt. Let's go. Nice hot grill. And these aren't gonna take too long to cook. Basically, we just wanna sort of warm them through, maybe get some nice grill marks on both sides. The natural sugars of the plantains will actually start to caramelize because of the direct heat of the grill. And then we'll glaze them with our rum and brown sugar glaze. You know you want to come back for that. Okay, so we got the grilled plantains. Now we're just gonna make them just a little bit sweeter, a little more flavorful. We have a rum and brown sugar glaze going over there, and I'm gonna finish it with a little bit of butter. While it's still nice and warm, we're just gonna whisk in a little bit of butter, give it some creaminess. Hot buttered rum. Melt it all in. Okay. We can glaze our plantains. A little bit of cilantro. Okay, so let me show you how I'm gonna make a little plate for myself. I'm gonna start with the pork here. And remember I said before, one of the keys to the pork is the cracklings itself. So we're gonna take the cracklings off separately. The skin, nice and crispy. And then I'm just gonna break up the cracklings a little bit. Chop them up. I want to be eating this thing faster than I cut it, because you've been waiting so long for it. And then when it's ready to eat, it's all about the crackling. Okay. Now we can start taking apart our pork. You want to sort of take it off in larger pieces. Then you can make sort of slices with it, or you can shred it, or you can rip it. All right, so I'm just gonna put a little bit on my plate here. I'm gonna take some of my orange sauce, put the cracklings on top of the sauce so that they stay nice and crunchy. Little black rice and beans. A few plantanos. Here you go. Cuban food from a box. Ready to eat? Let's go. All right, so you want to get a little of the cracklings, a little of the pork, a little of the sour orange. Can't beat that. You know, it's like Cuban style cooking is just unbelievable. And don't forget the Cuba Libre. Cheers.